first pick here. So,
of course.
in our first game, we have Brian Kelly leading his number 4 ranked LSU Tigers into Lane Kiffin's Rebel House of Horrors. Now, a third of the way through his 4th season in the Bayou, Brian Kelly has amassed an impressive 33-11 record. Not to be outdone, Lane Kiffin has led his Ole Miss Rebels to a 33-10 record since the start of the 2022 season. This is a can't-miss matchup between 2 red-hot SEC programs. Can Garrett Nussmeier, Mansour Delane, and Coach Kells keep the Tiger train rolling in Oxford, or will the hotty-toddy homecoming king and his explosive offense remind the Tigers that you can't spell L without LSU? Before we get into the nerd numbers and the much bottom lines, Tyler's going to walk us through a late-breaking development in this matchup.
Yeah, Kev, I don't know if we can call this a late-breaking one at this point. This is amazing family drama. We get a reality show breaking out in front of us this week. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Lane Kiffin's 20-year-old daughter, Landry Kiffin, announced this week via Instagram, I believe it's what the kids call a soft or hard launch.
This seemed pretty hard to me.
It's a pretty hard launch, okay. I guess that's what the kids call. It's a hard launch of a relationship with LSU's linebacker, Whit Weeks.
Wow. Defensive captain, correct?
Defensive captain. He is leading their team in sacks, one of their, all-time leaders for the team. And he's going against his new girlfriend's dad. Kev, which one of these gentlemen is playing more of a mind game?
I mean, it's gotta be Weeks.
You think? Okay.
Yeah, that is. It's going to be up to Lane Kiffin to show his maturity and his composure, and it'd be a tough day for the Ole Miss faithful if LSU does come into their home with a victory after coming into Lane Kiffin's home with a girlfriend.
I hope these two are happy together. I don't think it's like a Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, just relationship for the money type situation.
My wife watches this. Don't say that.
I didn't say that. We can edit this out in post, but we won't. But that being said, the fact of the timing, like the same week that they're playing, is weird. And then
I attend LSU.
She attends LSU. Yes, she does attend LSU.
Check us in the comments.
I saw the Instagram pictures. They're both very beautiful people, obviously. I feel like that needs to be said. As you would expect, SEC football player and SEC, Debutante, exactly. It's a crazy situation. That being said, do we want to talk about the actual meat of the game?
I got some numbers to give you.
Give me some numbers, Kev.
I think if LSU is going to see success in this game, they need to get off to a halfway decent start. Against Florida, their first quarter consisted of 3 drives with 3 3-and-outs. Against Clemson, it was punt, fumble, punt. Hell, against Louisiana Tech, it was interception, missed field goal, then finally a touchdown. So if you don't count LSU's game against Southeast Louisiana last week, they've scored a total of 26 points in the first half, 14 in the first quarter. Ole Miss, on the other hand, has 93 points in the first half. Yep. Now, the last piece of hard stats I'll give you is Ole Miss quarterback Austin Simmons, who I believe will not be playing this week. Nope. Even though last week against Tulane, little mind game from Lane Kiffin, he did get his karma, as we just heard. But he warmed up Austin Simmons pre-game to just confuse the Tulane coaching staff.
That's awful. I will go on record of saying I disavow that.
Okay. But anyway, Ole Miss, they threw 2 interceptions in both their first games. It was Austin Simmons. It's not their starter right now, Trinidad Chambliss.
Yeah, he looks good, man. He's number 1 in the SEC for yards per attempt when it comes to
And so, LSU forced 5 interceptions against Florida, so if there are mistakes, LSU will be looking to capitalize.
You're talking about LSU's defense. You also mentioned him. Let's not forget our boy Mansour Delane, who I know you have a gripe with, but who has shown that in those key situations, he's going to be the guy making those picks and those key plays. However, looking back at Ole Miss's secondary. They also have guys who are ready to take some interceptions, including, they got that safety, Deshaun Spears, who covers the seam a lot in that, general midfield position. He has 2 interceptions already on the year with 70 yards returning. He'll only need to find one of the many attempts that we know that Garrett Nussmeier is going to be trying to throw to get the ball back and maybe make a play on defense. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. Should we get to our picks?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, well, anyhow.
Just said get to the picks so we know what Fred wants.
To preface why. So Ole Miss and LSU, they played each other 4 times since Brian Kelly has been at the helm. And each of the 4 games, the home teams won and stormed the field. I think it's going to be no different this Saturday. I think you also want to take the over because when these 2 teams play in September over the last 20 years, they average 82.5 combined points.
Now, Kev, before I get to my pick, and because I control the slides, I can actually take my time here. I do want to, you opened up by saying, storming the field. This is another game, kind of like Indiana, Illinois last week, where we're seeing that Vegas and the polling committees just are not lined up. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I'm noticing this season, and it's being pointed out a lot throughout, like all the beat writers out there who are claiming that the AP polls that we're getting are just not accurate. So it's an interesting development in today's modern college football landscape. But you mentioned how Brian Kelly's record. Let's not forget how long the Magnolia Bowl has been going on. This game has been being played since 1894, and I'm not going to do a whole speech like I did about West Virginia and Pittsburgh, but this is one of the historical matchups, so that's what makes it so beautiful. That being said, to end this here. All right, folks, yesterday when we first recorded here, we did have some technical difficulties as far as getting it all done in one shot. I think you guys are going to be pleased with how we ended this out, but to go back here, I'm just going to quickly show that I am going to be taking, for this game, Ole Miss to cover at home. I think that when you line up these 2 teams, that Ole Miss is just the better ball team. I think that they have a lot more impressive gameplay on their resume thus far this season because, LSU is ranked number 4, sure, but who have they really beaten outside of Clemson? And who is to say that Clemson should even be considered a good win, if I'm being honest? That being said, I'm going to do that, and while it's against everything I typically do when it comes to these close spread games, I'm going to take the over just because our guy Lane Kiffin here told everybody to, and I got to lean towards the over when I hear that. And to back it up, both these offenses are just going to be slinging rock all game. They got great quarterbacks on both sides of the ball. Trinidad Chambliss is probably one of the better backups to come in this early in a season in recent memory for me. And Garrett Nussmeier is still within pecking distance of that Heisman. I think every week he's slowly burning out a little more, so we'll probably see a good performance from him. But now I want to switch to something special where it's our first remote appearance with me and Kev. We got some more electric games to go over with you guys.